Okay, Year 2, so now you have your beautiful black and white drawing. We are going to look at how to colour this together so that it looks really 3D, so that it really stands out from the page and looks realistic. Now, to make something look really 3D with the way that you colour it or the way that you shade it, you need to think about where the light is coming from. So I'm going to imagine that the light is hitting my sunflower here. So these bits are going to be the lightest and the brightest, and the bits around this side are going to be the darkest in the most shade. So I'm going to use some brown colours for here, and I'm only going to push really lightly where the light is hitting, because I want that to be the lightest part. Really, really gently shading that in. And because I want it to be really dark around the other side, I'm going to use a darker colour, and I'm going to push a lot harder to really get a dark brown colour. Now, to blend that in with the rest, I want to start really hard and I want to get a little bit lighter as I go along. I'm also going to make the inside of this bit darker because this is a raised bit all the way around the edge. And all the time I'm really trying to blend that in so that there are no lines that are really standing out. I'm going to fill in any of these bits that I've missed. Make sure I don't have any white bits because this part of my sunflower is all brown. And notice that to make it easier for myself, I'm not trying to always move my hand around. You can move the page to a place that's comfortable for your hand to reach. Now the middle of this is a little bit darker, so I'm actually going to blend a bit of green into it to really make that brown look a little bit darker. I'm going to cover it with a little bit of green and then go back over that with my brown. Now you can spend as much time as you need here tweaking and shading until you've got it exactly the way you want it, and you've got this edge really dark and this edge really dark and lovely light falling on here and here. So you can keep tweaking away until you're really, really happy with that. Now for the leaves, I'm going to show you a blending technique that will help those to look really 3D. Now what you want to use is 2 different shades. So if you have 2 different shades of yellow, that's great. If you don't, you can use a yellow and a red or a yellow and an orange to blend together, or even a yellow and a brown. Now I'm going to start off on the tip of my petal with my lighter colour. And then as I move down the petal, I want to press a little bit lighter, so more gentle with the pencil, so that you have a bit of room to blend another colour in there. And then I want to stop before I reach the bottom. And then I'm going to blend my darker shade into it. So darker at the bottom, harder at the bottom. And then going lighter as you move up the petal. So really, really gently now when you're trying to blend them in together. Keep going over the top, really gently. Now this is a colouring technique you can use with anything to blend 2 colours together, and it really helps your things to look nice and 3D. So I do this with most of the things that I colour. If you have another colour that's in between, you could go over the middle with it as well. There we are. So I'm going to do that around with all of these petals, and then I'm going to show you the next technique that we can use. Okay, so now that you've practiced that shading technique with your petals all the way around the edge, I'm just going to go back to the middle of this and add a little bit more texture because the colouring has lost some of our pencil a little bit. So with a nice dark brown or a black, you can go back through and add back in some of those lovely textures and patterns that you put in. Some of those circles that we put around here. I'm adding a little bit more to the bottom of these circles to make them really stand out and look really 3D. And inside my little grid that I've made here with my cross hatching, I'm just putting some little shapes just to look like those sunflower seeds that will be hiding in the middle, to make that look really, really 3D. Okay. What we're going to do now is look at how we can shade this stalk in a way so that it stands out and looks realistic. So if we're imagining the light is coming from over here, that means the light is going to hit this side of the stalk. So I need this to be really, really light. So with my green, I'm going to be really gentle on this side of the stalk. It's really pale. And then I'm going to start to get a little bit harder. Blend it in a little bit harder. And then if you do have a darker green, you could switch to that one, or you could just push even harder for this side. And push really, really hard on this edge, and then keep blending it out. This does take a lot of practice, these techniques, so don't worry. If yours looks different, that's great, because it means it's your beautiful creation. But don't worry if it looks different, because it does take practice. I'm going to do the same with these stalks. So I'm going to make it a little bit darker on the bottom side and a little bit lighter on the top side. And with my leaves, I'm just going to shade them lightly, and then I'm going to add in some darker lines. So I'm going to shade that whole leaf. Notice I'm not pushing very hard so that I can still add in more detail. And then I'm going to go along and I'm going to add the darkest bits to the middle. And I'm going to blend out from there. It's to make it look like it's folded in the middle a little bit. And I'm also going to highlight those lines that I have coming out of the leaf. So I'm going to go back over those with my green pencil. So that they really stand out. And then here I'm going to make the bottom of my leaf a lot darker. And here I'm going to do the same. I'm going to imagine it's curved over. I'm going to do the bottom of it a lot darker. Blend out a little bit from the middle. Okay, so now you have your beautiful sunflower drawing. I really cannot wait to see your versions of this. Please upload a photo if you've had a go at drawing along with me. And thank you for watching the video.